Today we're talking about one of the simplest and most powerful composition tools you can use in photography and video, the rule of thirds. My name is Timothy Riese, and I've worked in the television, film, and photography world as a director of photography and a photographer for nearly 20 years. Check out my videos as we cover not only the how, but also the why of various technical and creative techniques used in the creation of real images. Whether you're shooting with a cinema camera, a DSLR, or just your phone, the rule of thirds instantly makes the composition of your images feel more intentional and cinematic. It's the foundation of many compositional rules, is simple, powerful, and one of the fastest ways to level up your visuals. The rule of thirds is based on a very simple idea. Divide your frame into 9 equal rectangles by adding 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines. Where those lines intersect, those 4 little cross points are incredibly strong areas for visual interest. Our eyes naturally gravitate towards those points even if we don't consciously realize it. This is such a common composition rule that most cameras and even phones have an option to turn this on in your display. After using it for a while though, you'll start to see this guide in your imagination when you're composing an image, and you won't need to rely on these overlays. The rule of thirds plays into the way our visual system balances a scene. Placing a subject dead center creates symmetry, which is fine if you want that, but it can also make a shot feel flat or static. By placing your subject along one of the cross points, you can create tension, movement, and depth. It gives the viewer's eye a place to go, which feels more natural and more dynamic. I'm a fan of placing things on the right side of the frame, since I feel like our eyes naturally scan from left to right and will therefore better take in the entire frame before resting on the subject. However, this is just a personal preference, definitely not a rule, and often I will use the left side of the frame when the overall composition would be better. Let's take a look at a couple of visual examples of the rule of thirds in action. With subjects such as people or animals or things, place faces, eyes, or key details on one of the intersection points. When shooting landscapes, place your horizon on the top third if the foreground is more important, or the bottom third if the sky is the primary element. Notice that your image has a visual weight to it, and that by moving the horizon line up or down, you can make the image feel more or less balanced based on what your foreground is. When dealing with a subject in motion, best practice would be to give your subject lead room by placing the negative space of the image, the area outside of your subject, in the direction of its travel. This can create a feeling of intentional direction and motion. On a subconscious note, placing the negative space on the opposite side can actually create a feeling of unease, as the viewer can't see what's in front of the subject. You see this often in horror movies, where perhaps the monster is behind them. In interviews, the traditional framing of the subject has always been with the lead room on the side the subject is facing. However, it's common when using direct address into the camera to center the speaker in the frame. The rule of thirds should be considered more of a guide than a hard, fast rule. Like many rules in filmmaking and photography, they can be broken when going for a creative effect. But you should know the rule before you decide to ignore it. You can break it whenever you want. Symmetry, centered shots, and extreme framing can all be beautiful when used creatively and intentionally. If you like these videos, please subscribe and feel free to leave a comment about a future video you might want me to make. This user feedback really helps me see what users are looking for and ensures I can continue to make helpful and educational videos. Until next time, thanks for watching.